Welcome to episode 47 of Bee's Travelogue. For my 5-day summer vacation, I was going to Jeju and I was very excited. Here's the cabin I used to just store my suitcase. And here's the group cheering our departure. My friend had helped me book tickets on the ferry from Mokpo to Jeju. It was only about a 5-hour ride, but I still had to buy tickets for the cabin. I think it was about $70 each way. It was still cloudy as we departed the quay. I could see the Mokpo fishing harbor. Here is Yudal-san with the cable car station. And then the bridge came into view and I realized we were going to go under the bridge. First we crossed underneath the cable cars and saw Gohado Island and the Gohado Observatory. And then finally we came to the bridge. As soon as we passed under the bridge, the ferry made a sharp turn left. We passed these islands to our right, looking west, and then made a sharp turn right. By this time, the clouds were starting to open up and blue sky was becoming more prominent. It was getting really pretty. We saw fishing trawlers and beautiful green islands in a sea of green and blue. I was truly in awe of the beauty of the landscape here. I had not expected everything to be this pretty. The islands here are generally known as the Shinan Islands, with Shinan one of the bigger islands connected to Mokpo through the Infinite Bridge. I was able to see many islands from the deck, and then here in the distance you can actually see the bridge that keeps going on forever. I loved how the clouds reflected in the water and just stayed on deck for pretty much almost the entire trip. I kept walking around to the left side of the ship, stayed on the right side, couldn't decide which side was prettier, and just kept taking one picture, one video after the other. It was July 31st and it was very hot on deck. When the sun came out, even with the sea breeze, it started to get very hot. People just took their children for a short little walk. There were areas for people to walk their dogs, but not many people had their pets with them. Some people just stayed below deck and slept in the cabins. They hung out with their families, they were eating. I was the only one really staying up on top for almost the entire time. As we were coming further out to sea, I noticed fog between the islands. Soon we would leave the islands behind as we crossed the Korea Strait to get to Jeju Island. We were lucky in that there were hardly any waves at all, so the sea was just like a mirror reflecting the clouds. When we were leaving the last islands behind and all I could see around us was the sea, which was sort of boring to photograph, I finally decided to go below deck and explore the ship. I had walked around a little bit in the morning and had been intrigued by the ramen vending machines and ramen cooking machines. So I got a spicy flavor from the vending machine, and then with some help from some of the people around me, figured out how to use the ramen machine. I found a quiet space to eat in the back of the ship, and afterwards walked around to explore. And of course, everything was lit up in neon colors. There were karaoke rooms and areas for the children to play. So there was something to do below deck if you didn't want to be up on top like I was. The stretch of open sea was really very short, just enough for me to eat the ramen, and then Jeju already appeared in the distance. It didn't take long and we were pulling into Jeju Harbor. The opening was marked by a red lighthouse to our right and a white lighthouse to I stayed on deck taking pictures of everything. Before I left for Jeju, the weather forecast had said that it might be cloudy or even raining for the entire time I was there. At first I was upset, but then I figured I would just have a quiet time without work where I would relax in my little Airbnb and maybe enjoy museums and other indoor activities in the city. Then, as you can see, I had a beautiful day for the trip from Mokpo to Jeju this first day, and I had another beautiful day the next day. As we were coming into the harbor, the captain demonstrated how to perfectly parallel park a huge ferry boat. I was very impressed. I collected my suitcase and went outside to find the bus that would take me to my Airbnb. This Airbnb was the cutest mini house. I had to duck to get through the door, but once I was inside, it felt pretty spacious. It was absolutely beautiful. Just in the bathroom, when I was stepping backwards to wash my hair, I would hit my head on the ceiling. Within a couple of blocks from my Airbnb was Yeongdam Valley. Walking around that area, I learned more about Jeju Island. Like, these old grandfathers are a symbol of Jeju. I found these dragon tiles, and I learned that a lot of Jeju was volcanic and had been formed by lava flows. Yeongdam Valley is a rocky ravine with a river flowing through it. I left the sign here so you can pause and read about how everything was formed. I crossed this bridge and then headed to what was called the Dragon Rock. I'm not totally sure that I found the right formation, but I definitely photographed something I thought that looked like a dragon. I came down the steps on the left there and walked into an underground man-made cave. I felt and heard movement to my right, and I saw all of these bugs on the wall. I found out later that they're Korean sea cockroaches. I turned around at that point and headed back to town. I came through some beautiful streets with paintings and flowers. I came to this fancy palm-lined avenue, found a museum with these harabujis out front, and then went to McDonald's for dinner. If you're familiar with Bee's travelogue, you know that I'm not very adventurous when it comes to food. After dinner, I went into the Jeju City shopping street. It was very broad and beautiful, but very empty. In any European city, or in Thailand, or even in America, there would have been lots of people walking around, sitting in cafes, enjoying the time shopping, but not in Korea. It's just very, very empty most of the time. Here's an ad with one of my favorite actors, Ji Chang-wook. Some of his most famous shows are Healer, which I highly recommend, The K2, and the current drama, The Manipulated. As I was leaving the shopping area, the sun was just about to go down, so all of the buildings were lit in this beautiful golden light. I was headed toward an area I had marked that contained a lot of historic buildings. As usual, I was going to try and see as much as possible, even on my first day. I was very happy that I came here to look around. This is a rebuilt government building from the 1300s. There were lots of different sized buildings, lots of trees and a garden, and there were games for children to play, the kind of games that I had seen in lots of the historic K-dramas. Just as I was about to leave, I heard drumming and decided to find out what was going on. It was very lucky I did, because I came upon this performance.
기분이 있잖아. 너도 이제 나이가 차나 나 중심을 보거든. 진짜? 이거보다 나이가 차나.
손님, 나가 형 쉬운 남자가 아니오. 헛구다. 예. 형님은 저 남자랑 편안하게 쉬었습니다.
너 그냥 감싸야.
These were very traditional stories and scenes reenacted with masks that I would later see at the museum. Afterwards, I walked home and rested for my next day's adventure. Please join me. Thank you for watching.